Okay, that's live. So hi guys that are joining us for the live seminar over Facebook about why dieting post-baby doesn't work and how to get healthy easily. And thank you to the ladies that have come tonight. So it'll be a good chat. We've got a nice intimate setting tonight, so we should have a nice chat. So I guess as a way of introduction, my name's Nikki. And I am a mum of 2 boys, so I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I've been working in the health and fitness industry now for, I've got to do the calculation, about 18 years now. And prior to children, I was one of those I guess PTs that just never had an issue with weight, and you know, I ate whatever I wanted and there was no issues there. And then children came and it's a whole new ball game for me, and it helped me really, I guess, recognize that a lot of mums are going through similar struggles, and there's a lot of messaging out there about get back to your pre-body weight. It took 9 months to make a baby, it takes 9 months to lose a baby. Get into your bikini body, and although that type of messaging out there that can actually be quite harmful to our mental health, as well as can be quite unrealistic in terms of actually, I guess, achieving these time frames that society puts on us. So that's why I wanted to talk tonight, because one of the main questions that I get asked by a lot of people that I work with is, what's the best diet to go on that is going to help me lose my baby weight, or whatever it is. Or another thing that I hear a lot of is that I'm really tired and I just don't have the energy to do any exercise or anything like that. So those are the things that I wanted to talk through tonight. So just so that I don't go off track, I've got my notes here that I will be referring to. But as an overview, I just wanted to talk about some research that I came across most recently. And this research is actually really interesting because the research says that on average, the average woman will spend 17 years on a diet of their life, on a diet, which is really scary, don't you think? Like, that's 17 years of restricting yourself from foods that you want to eat, or eating a certain way, which, it's very interesting research. And I guess I couldn't find any research to back up the percentage of mums, or whether dieting ramps up after having children and women are more likely to diet after having children, but I strongly suspect that there would be a high percentage of those 17 years is in your post-children life. So that really just brought home everything that I wanted to talk about tonight. So let's actually talk about diet. So let's talk about, to start off with, why do we diet? So I've got a few of you here. Do you want to throw some thoughts into the ballpark here? Why do we diet?
Lose weight fast.
Lose weight fast. Yeah, absolutely. Any other reasons?
No, that's pretty much all I do it for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eat healthier.
To eat healthier? Yeah. So sort of you recognise that you're eating a certain way and you want to eat differently? Yeah. No, there's no,
same sort of reason.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's, we all, I guess, diet for different reasons.
Stubborn tummy.
Yes, yeah. I have exactly the same issue with the belly. So I actually, the last seminar I spoke about was, No, I'm Not Expecting was the title. And I spoke about belly weight. So I'll actually send you the YouTube link afterwards if you're interested in listening to that one.
When I first started my sessions with you, I think the first thing I said to you was, I want to lose the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what I said to you, the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And I think a lot of women, pre-babies as well, feel that way. Yeah. And it's hard. It's really hard to lose that weight around the middle, and there are so many reasons for that. So if you guys like, I can send you all the link to my last seminar, because we dug deep into the reasons why you might be having trouble losing the belly weight as well, and some steps that you can look at within your life that you can look at to help change the way that your body is processing things post-baby. But okay, so let's jump back to today. So let's have a chat about why we diet. So to start off with, I think we need to define what a diet is, because diet is actually, if we're talking about what diet was when the word diet was invented, a diet is basically what you consume. It's your foods that you're consuming daily. And I guess in the health industry now, we tend to talk about that as nutrition now, because diet has got this this wording to it about weight loss or calorie counting or restricting the amount of foods. So basically what dieting is, in I guess modern day terms, is restricting foods or counting calories or reducing the amount of foods that you're having per day in this bid to lose weight. So some diets that I can think of off the top of my head is like the keto diet, the paleo diet. I think it was like in the 1990s, it was the cabbage soup diet. There's detoxes people do, liver detoxes, cleansers. All of those things are classed as diets. And the health industry or the diet industry is really playing on this as well. Like, it's a multi-million-dollar industry. People are probably really well-intentioned with, sorry, just make sure that's recording. Yeah, I got distracted for a second. People may have really good intentions, the people that are selling diets and things like that, but it is a multi-million-dollar industry now. And like I mentioned before, we are bombarded with these images constantly. And just quietly, if I see another image of someone holding up their top to show off their flat abs, I might scream. So that's I guess what the media is portraying to us. And in reality, that's only a very small percent of the population as well. So it's not everybody that looks the way that the health and the diet industry is portraying things. I'll just turn the page. Okay, and the last thing, one of you guys just hit this on the head, was that we diet to lose weight fast. So we're in this mindset, or we're in this time of, I guess, how life is now, where we all strive for instant gratification. So people generally know that exercise and eating well is what's going to help you to lose weight in the long term. However, we're in this instant gratification world of, well, I don't want to do the long term, I want to lose weight right now. So, and that's another reason why people diet. So I wanted to just talk very quickly about this, I guess it's a famous calorie restriction study, or some research that was done back in World War II, because this is, I guess I want to go now on to where dieting can lead to, or what dieting can do to our body. So this experiment that was done in World War II was where they took 36 healthy young men, they were soldiers, and put them on a starvation diet, or a semi-starvation diet, for a period of 6 months. And the men lost about 25% of their body weight. Their average daily calorie intake was cut from 3,200 calories per day down to 1,600 calories per day. And during this experiment, they described a whole range of symptoms. So they described, and I'll just have to read this here so I don't get it wrong, lethargy, irritability, and anxiety. They also experienced dizziness, cold intolerance, so they were always cold, muscle soreness, hair loss, reduced coordination, edema, low sex drive, and ringing in the ears. And then 2 men actually went on to experience psychological stress. 1 became suicidal, and another person, he cut off 3 fingers in an act of self-mutilation. And that was because of the reduced calories coming into their body and the effect that had on their body and their mental health as well. So my point to that is, while I can't specifically say dieting will do this to your body, it can lead to a range of health implications, both physical and mental health. And dieting also changes our perception of food. So similar to what I just spoke about, there was once this perception of food being nutritious, and this is what eating food does for our body. But when people go on diets, it suddenly becomes about this is a good food and this is a bad food. Is this food going to make me fat, or is this food going to make me skinny? So it takes away the actual point of eating, which is to fuel your body with good nutritious foods that are going to make you healthy. So let's get to the juicy stuff now, and this is, in my opinion, why diets don't actually work. So leading on to what I just mentioned is that restricting food intake can lead to that preoccupation with food. So we really don't want to get into a point in our lives where we're restricting things that we're doing in our lifestyle by going, no, I can't go out for dinner with you tonight because I am on this diet, or going out for dinner and for 17 years of your life, because you're on a diet for 17 years of your life, saying no to that piece of cake that you really want, or that ice cream that you want. So it's one of the reasons why dieting doesn't work, in my opinion, is because of the preoccupation that you end up having with food. And the preoccupation with food can then lead to the extreme of binge eating as well. Because when you think about something, and no matter how much you try to tell your brain not to think about something, you then start wanting to have that thing. So when you're seeing, for example, a chocolate bar, and you're saying, I cannot eat that chocolate, I cannot eat that chocolate, I cannot eat that chocolate, your brain is going, chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. And that's all you can think about is that chocolate. And so it can then lead to binge eating, where your brain just wants that chocolate and you just go for it, and then you eat more of that particular food than what you intended on eating, or you may break a fast, for example, or something like that, and you just eat everything in sight because you've been thinking about these foods over and over and over. Another reason why I'm leading on to the next bit that I was going to talk about, why I don't think diets work is because you're depriving your body of calories. So what actually happens is, when you're depriving your body of calories, your body starts to eat your muscles. Not in you don't have chunks of muscle taken out of your body. But what it actually does is your body relies on a certain amount of calories as fuel to be able to keep going through your day. So you've got your body fat and you've got your muscles. And when you're cutting your calorie intake, you're cutting the amount of fats that are coming into your body. And so the only way that your body knows how to survive is if it starts then eating those muscles that you've got there, okay? And then that can lead to a whole range of health problems because you no longer have the strength in your muscles. When you are calorie counting, when you are reducing the amount of calories that you are eating, you are sending your body into starvation mode. So what you're actually doing is you're playing around with your metabolism, because your metabolism actually thinks that you're in famine, and your body doesn't know when the next meal is coming. So when you do eat food, not saying that you don't eat food if you're on a diet, but when you are eating foods, what your body is actually doing is breaking down everything within that food, and any fats or anything that it can store, it's going to store them. It's going to hang on to them because it doesn't know when the next meal is coming, because you're in famine. You're in starvation mode. So by cutting calories, what you're doing is your body is basically becoming confused. So when you do start eating again, and for example, this is why people, when they're on a diet, they lose a lot of weight on their diet, and then they start their regular eating and the weight comes back on, because your body and your metabolism is so confused. It's like, oh, I'll store all this because I don't know when the next famine is coming. So that's, and I guess another reason why, dieting is not the best approach towards a long-term weight loss goal. Does anyone have any questions so far? No? Okay. Well, this makes it easy, doesn't it? Am I making sense?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about mum life now, and why the story has changed post-baby. Because like I had mentioned to you before, and you might experience this also, or have experienced this, is that it was a whole different ball game before children. Your body reacted completely differently. So what has happened now that we've had children is our body has been through a lot. we grew a human being inside our body, or multiple human beings inside our bodies. So let's actually just take a step back from the body side of things for a second, and let's have a chat about what life is like now and why it is so hard to lose weight post-baby. The first one is we no longer have the time and the support to solely focus on ourselves. We are focusing on keeping these other human beings alive, regardless of how many children that you do have. So you're no longer just focused on yourself, you're focused on all these other things, which means that your time diminishes. You don't have the luxury anymore of just skipping down to the gym whenever you feel like it, or deciding to spend an entire day cooking up a week's worth of food. I mean, awesome if we do have that opportunity to do that, but generally life is a lot different to how it was pre-children, and that brings challenges in terms of actually being able to focus on your weight loss. And there's also that little bit of, I guess, it's not baby brain, and I don't actually know the term that I'm trying to look for now, but you're so focused on raising these other people, these children, that you don't have the capacity to just like solely focus. Am I making sense? Like, what am I trying to say?
Thing is, you don't get to go to the toilet by yourself.
Yeah.
Those
You
little
don't go,
things that
yeah.
you used to take for granted, no longer things you take for granted. I think that's a perfect way to sum it up. And then it's kind of a bit of a mum brain as well, where you're like, I was focusing on this healthy eating plan, but I just completely forgot it because I saw my child's bowl of uneaten food, and then I need to eat that. So yeah, it's a bit of both, isn't it? Also, after you've had a baby, I think it's a myth that it is 9 months in, 9 months to lose the weight. It takes your body time to recalibrate after having children, and no one person is exactly the same. So those people that do lose their baby weight after having a child, good on them, that's great. If it's working for them, that's fantastic. But we need to keep in mind that it's not like that for every single person as well. Your hormones, especially when the children are really young, are still fluctuating. Okay, so basically your body was overloaded growing this human being, and so it's going to take time for your hormones to settle back down, especially if you're still breastfeeding as well. And the other point is that your metabolism is no longer the same than it was pre-baby. Okay, so cutting calories slows it right down, which can lead to a range of issues that come with diets and cutting calories, etc. So the point there is that your metabolism changes once you've had children as well. So the way that you are processing the foods that you consume is a lot different to what it was pre-baby. Another point there is, I'm sure you are part of the in-joke of mum life that we survive on caffeine and alcohol. Maybe more so caffeine, I don't know. No.
I drink coffee, it puts me to sleep.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it depends whether you like the taste of coffee.
I can't drink it.
Oh, okay. How do you go working with coffee all day?
It doesn't smell too bad.
Yeah.
I've learned to look what it looks supposed to look like when it's correct and when
Yeah.
it's yucky.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, my point there is, if you are consuming caffeine and alcohol, what caffeine and alcohol do to our body is actually dehydrates our body. So hydration is a really key factor to losing weight. So if we're consuming these things that are causing our bodies to dehydrate, but we need more water intake to lose weight, you can see that that's an uneven balance there as well. So that's something to keep in mind. And another thing is exhaustion and stress. So exhaustion is actually places stress on your body. And I always hate bringing this up with a group of mums because we can't help our children and the way that we get our sleep, but we are exhausted on a whole different level as well, which like I mentioned before, you can't even go to the toilet by yourself anymore, can you?
No, I'm lucky if I get a shower by myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Daddy, give me a hand.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation, isn't it?
I'm sometimes tempted to take the door off the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, I still get to shut the door and go to the bathroom. No.
So, what stress does to our body is stress actually produces a hormone called cortisol. And cortisol actually increases the amount of fat in your body and the amount of fat that the cells in your body actually cling to. So when you're experiencing stress or exhaustion, then your body is more likely to cling to any fats that you do consume, which is another reason why I think pre-baby we struggle with losing weight. Does that all make sense so far? Yeah, great. I'm going to have a drink because I'm wearing my voice out already. Bear with me.
Alright, someone hasn't exhausted herself yet.
No, they just keep on going and going, don't they?
Well, that's what someone should do, a business of harvesting energy over.
Well, that actually takes me to my next topic, which is how to increase energy and feel less tired. And the answer is not harvesting energy out of our children, as lovely as that would be. But if anyone, has a secret method for doing that, that would be great. But this is a big one, and I know that we've been talking about this, is increasing movement. So one of the most common things that I hear from a lot of the ladies that I work with is that they're too tired to actually do some exercise. And when I'm talking exercise or increasing movement, I'm not saying I expect you to go out for a 60-minute run. What I'm saying is that you want to increase your body's movement, because the more you get moving, the more you're increasing the blood flow through your body, and the less tired you're actually going to feel because that blood's flowing through your body. Your body's not slowing down. So we're kind of doing the opposite right now because I've made you all sit. So your body's just slowing down. But yeah, if you are feeling tired, then you can get up and do some extra movement, and that is likely to give you that little energy boost that you need, particularly that 3 p.m. slump time that you might feel every day if you get 3 p.m. slump. And so what I've actually done in my notes here is I've listed a couple of things that you could do for some extra movement. That would only take 5 minutes. So one is a full body stretch, and I've actually provided you a little YouTube link to a 5-minute stretch video that I've got. So you can always just pull that one up and do some stretching. You can go for a walk around the block. You can bust out a quick set of 20 squats and 20 push-ups or whatever takes your fancy. Have a dance with the kids, whatever it might be. The next thing that you can do to increase your energy and to feel less tired is to try to reduce the amount of stress that you're feeling. And by reducing the amount of stress, it was very close.
That's close as we got so far.
To reduce the amount of stress, I'm not saying it can be very hard to reduce the amount of stress that is actually happening in your life, because stress happens for a range of reasons, one being the exhaustion point that I pointed out before. But what we can do is work towards decreasing the way our body is reacting to that stress. So some tips there is to do some mindset work or some meditation work. And by saying meditation work, I'm not saying that you need to go down to the beach and do a 30-minute meditation every day. It could be simply just sitting there for 1 or 2 minutes and just focusing on your breathing and breathing in and then exhaling, and just do that 5 times through. So even when you're trying to sit on the toilet and the kids are coming in or whatever it might be, you can just sit there with your foot on the door and just take some deep breaths if you need to. So whatever you can do to reduce some stress. So I've got, again, some tips for, not reducing the stress, but reducing the way that your body actually reacts to stress. And that is moving your body gently. So just doing some gentle movements just slows everything down, slows the thinking down, slows the blood pressure down, slows the racing heart down. So meditation, I don't know why I said having a nap. Who gets a nap? That's a bit of a nice thought, isn't it? Yeah, it is a dad thing, isn't it? And closing on the door on the family and just doing nothing, if that's possible. And I appreciate if that's not possible.
It doesn't end well when that happens. Someone finds things that she's not meant to have. It takes 2 days to find them.
Oh dear. Yeah. They always know when you need a little bit of me time, don't they? And they get up to their worst mischief at that point.
It just happened to be the day Mummy really needed to sleep.
Yeah. Why? How do you know these things? She's like, who, me? Yeah. Okay, another thing to feel more energized and less tired is trying to avoid the sugar crash. So when it comes to sugar and your energy levels, I guess a good way of thinking about this is a campfire situation. So when you're eating foods that are sugar dense, that are quite high in sugars, what you're doing is you're putting a little bit of kindling on the fire. So the fire is still burning because you're putting these little bits on the fire, but you're not giving your body logs that are going to help the body to burn for a much longer period of time. So what you want to be doing is to avoid the sugar crash, avoid sugary processed foods, and feed your body with nutritious foods that are going to fuel your body for a longer period of time. So long fuel burning sources of fuels can be like a banana, it could be an apple with some nut butter such as peanut butter or something on it. Wholemeal grain options are great, high fibre meals as well. Anything that is low GI can also be really good as long burning fuels. And I've got a little line here as well, wherever you can add some veggies. as well, because just as a complete aside, which is totally unrelated to this topic, but the average people are not consuming the recommended daily intake of veggies, which is 5 or more serves of veggies per day. And then my very last point, and this does actually make you feel less tired and have more energy, is hydration. So what we as women want to be doing is drinking one litre. I was trying to say kilogram and I didn't want to say kilogram. I knew it was the wrong thing. 1 litre of water for every 22 kilos of body weight that we have per day. Then if you're exercising, on top of that, you want to be drinking a little bit more water as well. That is your ideal amount of water that you want to be drinking to be optimally hydrated per day. It's a lot, isn't it, when you think about it?
Never get off the toilet.
Yeah. I know, right? But that'll only be for the first week that you'll be on the toilet every 5 minutes. And then your body actually reaches a point of hydration and it goes, oh, okay, this is normal now. There we go, yes.
So we're talking about water.
She knows, she wants more energy. So, every time from now on that you think, gosh, I'm feeling tired, gosh, I feel exhausted, go have a glass of water. So that's my challenge to you, okay? And see if you can notice the effects that actually has on your body and your alertness as well. By having enough water within our body, we're helping again that blood circulate, and it's going to be moving more freer when you are properly hydrated, which in turn actually gives you more energy when that blood's flowing nicely. And I've also got a little point here that if you're not a fan of drinking water, because I know some people don't actually like to drink water, and that's okay, because there are alternatives that are not soft drink, that are not juice, but what you can have is herbal teas, preferably almost fell backwards.
Sit off the chair properly.
That was very close.
Oh, she's done with the dining table before.
Oh,
She did the hard way.
my little one fell off his chair off the dining table the other day too.
They learn the
He
hard way.
didn't learn. He got back on and did it again.
I'll wait for her to learn. It might take her another 4 times.
Yeah.
You're a buffet.
So herbal teas, infused waters, plenty of fruit as well, because fruit has a lot of water content into it. And yeah, that about brings me to the end. Very quick, I probably spoke way too quick. But for those of you that are at home, if you would like your 5 days of short at-home workouts, you can get, just hit me up and I'll send those through to you. But as a thank you, ladies, for coming tonight, I've got your 5 days of short at-home workouts here. They are YouTube links. So that means that you can just jump on to YouTube and you can follow along to an exercise workout that is led by me. And they're about 10 to 15 minutes. So they're actually workouts that are actually you can do at home without, trying to put aside an entire hour of your day. Does anyone have any questions? No? Have I left you all in shock, or are you just digesting? Digesting, yeah.
Someone doesn't end up in the hospital.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will say thank you to those people that are watching the live seminar. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you did miss it, you can always watch the replay as well. So go back and watch the replay. So I'll just press stop here.